Hello, everyone, and welcome to another interview today with me, Water. I have come here today into the studio to introduce to you all a special guest I will be interviewing today, the lovely Ballpit cryptid on Twitter, or also known as Vert. Alright then, could you introduce yourself to our lovely viewers?
Hey everybody, I'm Vert. I do art and stuff. I like ball pits.
Amazing, amazing, great. So, is there anything you would like to say right off the bat? Or would you like to get right into questioning?
There's one huge thing I want to address right before balls.
Amazing. I'm sure that everyone out there loves those. I mean,
Thank you.
I'm a great enjoyer myself. After all, I did
Well,
invest in them. I own many balls. Usually they aren't my own. Um, but as you know, when you came into the studio, I did ask you to leave your balls at the door because we will have to inspect those in case there's any
You'll
tracking
never take my
devices.
balls while I'm alive.
You don't have to be alive, but you'll get them back after the interview. Hmm. So, the first question I have for you today, it's a very important one. What do you think about wind?
Wind. I think wind is kind of controversial because like on one hand, it's really gentle, it's really nice, but like on the other hand, it can be kind of like harsh, like hurricanes and stuff, tornadoes. That's not
Yeah.
cool, man. I don't support that.
Why don't you support that?
Well, I mean, like hurricanes just seem kind of mean, They're just like, "Hey, that house that you like? Well, I'm gonna take that house. I'm gonna destroy its roof." And I think that's just kind of not nice, Like you should ask people before you do that.
Oh, so you mean it's more about like a consensual thing, so it's non-consented destruction that you aren't
Yeah, I
off
mean,
with?
some people like when their roofs get taken off, some don't, and I think that should be recognized in society. It's weird.
Very weird indeed. Um, But the problem is, don't you think it's more creative to just rebuild a new house? Perhaps if you didn't like the old house in the first place, perhaps you'll have a chance to build something new and creative.
Well, I mean, I think that should be up to the home builder. Like, some people are in their stage of life where they're like, I love my house the way it is. And then some people are just like, I'd rather keep my house that way. And I think people should have a say in that?
All right, yes, that makes a lot of sense, yeah. The second question I had for you today. Do you have any allergies?
I'm actually allergic to red dye and food, like human food. I
Oh,
cannot eat
like
red dye.
apples, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I just hate apples in general, so I haven't tried that yet, but I could try.
Oh, so um, is it like a race thing?
Oh, listen, I don't have anything against like red colored food. Don't even like put that out there. Like, are you trying to get me canceled? Like, I don't listen.
I'm
If
not
if you
trying to
like
do
red colored
anything
food,
here.
you're fine. I
I'm an interviewer. This is my job. I mean, you know.
I can't exactly storm out, but I would if I could.
And the doors are locked, which but that is not important. Um, so if you remember correct, a few days ago, the the Secretary of Self-Defense have gone out to say that they want to remove any kind of glitter from schools because they see glitter to be bad for children because it can get into their eyes and stuff. What do you think about that? Do you think they should remove glitter from schools, or do you think children should be able to play with glitter?
Listen, listen, back in my day, we put glitter anywhere. We snorted it. We put it on like our bags and stuff. I think kids should just be able to explore themselves, and like glitter is an important part of that? We shouldn't ban that. It's like banning self-expression.
Yeah, that checks out. I'd say that's a very reasonable thing to say. Um,
On with normalcy.
yeah, it happens. But they also said, which to me is confusing because I didn't quite understand, that they want to remove milk from schools because they say milk is poison after a German YouTuber said so. And they seem to believe that. Do you think that milk is poison?
Well, I mean, I think that milk can be poisonous. It depends on the cow's intentions. Like, some cows are, like, vicious. I mean, like, I've seen a cow and I was afraid for my life once, so I wouldn't put it past them, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. After all, as we know,
Little
cows
cows.
did rob banks before. Um, they are very weird creatures sometimes. Um, so
Ever
for
heard of staring contest with a cow?
cows can be weird. They do weird things, you know. Cows do many things. Mm,
Just like me for real.
I'd always have my eye on a cow. I'd never be behind a cow, as you know. You shouldn't be behind cows and horses. They can like destroy you, like bad to destroy you. But some people do
Yeah.
like getting destroyed, so I wouldn't say it's not for everyone. It's just not for me.
You know,
After all, if I were destroyed, I could not make these interviews because I'd be dead. Um, but we have to move on with
what is that paper
with
was?
other questions, as of course the network is always limiting my time. For the viewers from the first interview, they would know that as well. The the entire system isn't very favorable towards me. As you can see, the studio is a bit run down. There seem to be cracks in the
Leaks
ceiling right
everywhere.
above you. But it doesn't
Good
matter.
lord.
Mm. Anyways, for the viewers out there who do not know, as our guest today has introduced himself, did mention having a kind of art Twitter stuff, you know, making art, and you've many things you drew before, correct? What would you say is the favorite thing you've ever drawn out of anything? The best thing you ever did?
I'd say that I don't really have a favorite, but I would say that like a lot of the stuff that I've just sort of drawn because I like that I didn't expect to be good have turned out way better than stuff I'm super passionate about, which is kind of annoying. Like a lot of my FNAF art is like some of my favorites when I just kind of just drew it to just and I didn't expect it to be good.
Happens to the best of us after all. And now, what would you say was the your least favorite thing you've ever drawn? If you had to pick one.
Oh my God. Honestly, like I don't have like a least favorite because that seems like too mean. But like any of my art from like my Sander size phase, that sucked.
Yeah. Yes, I generally think that all art sucks except the one that I draw because
Me too,
I
man. Me
am
too.
I'm very much not sponsored by any kind of artists out there. However, I would say that my favorite art ever came from President Donald Trump. He's an amazing artist, but of course I wouldn't get any sponsors on this show, but do check out his art. Um, as we
I mean,
know,
his Twitter should be back soon, so you could DM him and be like, hey, sponsor me. I love your art, love your work, man.
I wouldn't get sponsored by people. I want this show to be free. The next question: do you love Coca-Cola?
I think it's sort of like it's very basic, if that makes any sense. Like ginger ale, yeah, I love ginger ale.
It's amazing, right?
Yummy.
Good. Um, of course, not sponsored because even though there is a
Very
Coca-Cola
sponsored.
can,
We are sponsored.
as you see, there is a
Totally.
Coca-Cola glass on your table, on your side of the table.
Why
But
is it spelled wrong? It says Coca-Cola. Is that a ripoff?
no, that's the version that they sent to us for their not
Is this
sponsor.
German thing?
Just drink the drink, okay? Um,
Why does it look funny? Are you trying to
so
poison me or
the
something?
next
Just like the
question on the
cows?
line, what do you think about the government?
I honestly think the government is the government. Like, what can we say? I mean, I know if I was up in a position of power, I'd probably do some really stupid stuff too. So I mean, who am I to criticize?
All
Make
right.
balls legal again.
Yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned Make a Balls League again, the new campaign, which many young people, younger than me, of course, like you, for example, are going to, like, trying to make balls legal again after they've been banned for, you know, the charges. What would you say are why would you say should balls be released back into the public? Why should you say people should enjoy them once more?
See, I think balls should be for everyone. We should all be able to enjoy balls, like, and they shouldn't be just locked behind some cage just for being themselves, you know? It's just it's like basic discrimination, you know? Balls should be free, and we should let our balls be free.
Yeah, I mean, don't tell them that, but my personal balls, they are always free. If you check under this table, there are some balls on the ground right here. Those are mine.
Oh,
You're not
sick!
allowed to touch those.
Whoa!
Um, but of course,
Free ball!
they're not free. They're mine. I got them for money. I did not steal them. Um, as you've heard, there were allegations against me that on the 13th of May in the subway in New York, I did run over a mother and her two children with my bike.
Uh,
Um, those
are
are
you okay?
allegations, but as you
Yo, are
know,
you okay?
I am very okay because those are allegations. You know that didn't happen. But you were there, if I remember.
Ah,
You were
I
in the
see, I
train car,
see.
so you can agree, right, that that didn't happen. What do you think about those allegations? Do you think those are true?
See, I think that those allegations are false, and I think that it's devious to spread those allegations. Like that can
Yeah, yeah.
harm a man's life. And I mean, honestly, I think Water is probably one of the best drivers I've been with. I mean, sure, he swerved off the
Thank
road
you.
a few times, but that's just natural, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, yeah, and it was winter, and that deer blood
Yeah.
on the ground was very slippery.
It was
Um,
really pretty against the snow, though.
yeah, I mean, sadly it isn't
Gorgeous.
snowing here. As you if you look outside the window here, you can see the studio is right above a big pit of fire. So the snow sadly does not reach here, but you know what can you do, right? Um,
What a lovely office.
yes, thank you, very lovely. The puddles do seem to be growing as the water drips down into them. Um,
Yeah, you need to get
but
a few like little buckets or something.
yeah, maybe a few straws perhaps. I am thirsty. Because as you can see, while you do have the Coca-Cola glass on your side, I do not
Typical.
have any kind of drink on mine because the network refuses to give me anything to drink because they say I'd be making a network loss in that way,
If you
which
drank
is
water, would it
ridiculous.
be cannibalism?
Um, you'd have to ask Mr. Water from last time. He's more knowledgeable that kind of area.
Um,
But
have,
before
have
we,
have you ever drank Mr. Water? This is just a I'm
uh,
interviewing you now. Have you
those
ever
are
drank Mr. Water?
those are very private questions. And we do need
Ah,
to
hmm.
get
So you're
towards
not
the
saying
end of the
no.
show.
Hmm.
So for our last question for today, before you can make your last words, I mean your end credits. Um, on the way here, I assume that you saw the secretary's dog. It's a big pit bull called Daisy.
Yeah.
And there is a petition right now in this studio that I totally did not start to have this dog be changed in a way um, where it is no longer here and instead in my
Hmm.
garage and belonging to me. Would you say that's a good change to make?
I
Making me the
mean,
owner of that
honestly,
dog? Because
I
I
mean,
would like it.
honestly, from from what I know about you, I think that dog should belong to you. I mean, with the way you drive, I think that dog will be in perfect capable hands.
Very capable. Yes, I have very interesting hands, very good hands. Um,
Nice
though
hands.
I will, I
Great for
do,
touching ball.
I do wonder, being so small as you are you really capable of answering such a question?
What?
Because of
Re-
your tiny size, it might impact your question answering capabilities. So,
listen. What I lack in height, I make up for in brain, which makes sense with you because you're so tall. So you know what you make up, what you have no brain. That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, hmm, that seems very accurate. Um, I do
It's
like
liquefied.
I do like knocking on my head. It makes a nice echoey sound, but that isn't for right now. Because talking about brain size can be considered somewhat personal, and I don't
Yeah,
want
let's
to
not
get
compare
sued.
sizes.
Yes, best to compare sizes after the interview. I do have lovely sleeping chambers, as the studio calls them, where I am locked in over the
Are you in a
night.
dungeon?
It is a kind of dungeon, you could say. They call it the interviewee sleeping chambers, if I remember. Um, I believe they are better than my last apartment, though I do think they should add more air into those because sometimes I do have to hold my breath. But that is not important for right now and against company regulations. Um, so I think that there were enough questions. I am very glad you came today. So, would you like
Thank
to
you.
give any last words before you depart and get thrown into that pit of fire outside? I mean, go home peacefully.
Well, I would just like to say thank you for having me, Fluid Man. I really do appreciate being on here. And I say that pit is very warm and comforting, so I'm happy and I'm glad to be out of captivity finally. Thank you.
Yeah. The pleasure's all mine. And the studios. And Coca-Colas, and probably the doors.
Coca-Cola.
Yes, that. But yeah, thank you very much, and I hope that all the viewers can have an amazing day as well, and a great time. So, hey, everybody stay safe, make sure not to fall into the pit of fire outside if you ever visit the
Watch out.
studio, and bye bye.
Bye.